we go any further, I would like to have my co-host introduce himself.
Hello, Squashy Abominito. Glad to be here on another one of these BS Busters.
Glad to have you. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner and proprietor of BS Busters, and before we get any further, hey man, what you been playing?
I mostly just been playing Street Fighter 6.
Street Fighter 6. Didn't they add new characters?
Yeah, they added M. Bison.
Oh, really? Like the most important villain in the series? They kept on trying to replace him. It's like, oh, here's Seth, here's some other motherfucker. It's like, no one gives a shit about you.
Yeah, they've been trying to create a new, villain.
Look, we all know who the best villain in Street Fighter is. It's M. Bison. Only M. Bison could say some shit like, the day I came to your village was the most important day of your life. But to me, it was Tuesday. Only M. Bison could say some shit like that and not come off ridiculous. Because he's just that badass. Anyway. So yeah, man. Didn't they added M. Bison? Didn't they add another character?
Not yet. Some of the King of Fighter characters are making an appearance.
Yeah, didn't they add Terry?
Terry and Mai.
My Shiranui? Yeah, man. Everyone likes the My titties. Everybody likes My Shiranui's titties. It's like, physically speaking, I don't think that this lady could do those martial arts moves being that busty. You know, we've got the Women's Olympics going on right now. And I guarantee you, none of those gymnasts are that busty.
Yeah.
Because, you know, reasons.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, they gotta be able to stay in the air for a long time.
well, not just that, but like,
wait.
if you look at most gymnasts, they're like pound for pound in terms of athleticism and physical body strength. Gymnasts are strong. They're some of the strongest athletes on earth because they have to literally they have to hold their entire body, their body weight in their upper arms.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know football players and weightlifters are like, oh, we're strong. You ain't strong like a gymnast, bitch. You know? So, yeah, man. So, yeah, I'm glad they're adding King of Fighter characters. Because, you know, like, the people who made Street Fighter 2 left. I mean, Street Fighter 1 left before, like, right at the, like, in the middle of Street Fighter 2 development and went and joined SNK. And that's how you got King of Fighters and Art of Fighting.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's one of those things that you just don't really, you know, and a lot of the people who went on to make Street Fighter 2 left. And Street Fighter 2 and 3 left and became Arc System Works. So basically, the people who've been making Street Fighter the last few years, like, people are like, man, these aren't as good as the old ones. Because the people who made the old ones are gone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty crazy how a lot of they lost their talent and went on to make competing games.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of people think SNK is better than Street Fighter. A lot of people think Street Fighter is I mean, I personally feel that Guilty Gear is better than Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear that. But I don't care. I think Guilty Gear is better than Street Fighter. I think it's faster. It's easier to get into. You don't have to devote as much energy into
combos and stuff.
Well, you don't have to devote as much energy into basically memorizing how the character memorizing how to use a character. Like Street Fighter, the way Street Fighter is now, you pretty much have to learn one of the four. You have to get good with one of the four character archetypes. So you need a charge character, a rolling character, a grappling character, and a technical character, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. And I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have to. Whereas Guilty Gear, you can be like, all you need to do is be good with like one character.
Yeah.
Maybe two. And you're good. Like, you can basically do everything else with that one character. Like, if you're good with Soul Bad Guy, you pretty much can do everything else you want to do.
Yeah.
Or Chip Zaniff, or Potemkin, or Faust. You know, all you need is just one, and you're good. Whereas, you know, Street Fighter, because every character in Street Fighter has a counter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every character has a counter. So, like, if you're a Ryu or Ken guy, right? Oh, Ryu and Ken. Dhalsim area control characters can totally cancel out Ryu, or can totally cancel out a Ryu and Ken. Dhalsim or Guy. Which kind of, you know, that kind of breaks the game a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
King of Fighters is harder than Street Fighter.
Yeah, it is, but when you get your ass kicked in King of Fighters, you can tell where you fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, man, I fucked up. Or I didn't properly block that, or I didn't get out of the way. Whereas you, like, there's been times I've been playing Street Fighter, and I'm like, what bullshit is this?
Yeah.
Because, you know, in Street Fighter, all the characters have hidden stats, right? Like, hidden HP. Like Akuma, whatever the fuck his name is. Akuma has really high offense. His defense is trash. So if you can rush him and keep him from doing any of his attacks, you can take him out relatively easy. Which is why when I see people playing Akuma, I'm like, oh, he's so badass. I'm like, is he though? Or do you think he's badass? I mean, Sagat is like way better than that. There's a reason he's banned from a lot of games, because he's just so fucking OP. Like Sagat with his tiger uppercut and tiger knees and all that shit, he's functionally like he's like a better version of Ryu.
Yeah.
Like tiger uppercut's like a better Shoryuken. Except, you know.
Imagine.
What?
Like I mentioned, he takes up the whole screen when he does an attack. So
yeah. Yeah, like Sagat is ridiculous. He's ridiculously OP, and people never, you know. Now that's why he's one of my favorite characters, because he's just like, you know, Sagat gets in your ass, you know. And if you know how to use him, you know, if you're good at using Sagat, you can basically kick anyone's ass. But speaking of kicking anyone's ass, it's my shitty segue right there. I saw Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine last Saturday, and it was a pretty fucking good movie.
I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, it was really good. It had a lot of cussing in it though.
Yeah.
A lot of cussing. And here's the thing: most of the cussing, most of the F-bombs were being thrown by Wolverine.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. He's like, shut your fucking mouth. Like, constantly. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, if you get a chance, you should watch the movie. Although, for those of you who haven't seen it, there's a lot of homoeroticism in the film. Like, a lot of homoeroticism. Like, a metric ton. If homoeroticism weirds you out, then don't. Well, actually, watch it anyway. It's still pretty good. Miranda Baccarin's still looking good as hell. The lady who played Vanessa in the films, his girlfriend slash significant other, whatever. Anyway, it's a good film. Watch it. I'm not gonna go spoilers or anything because that's lazy, but suffice it to say, the cameos in this film are pretty goddamn good.
So how well does it tie into the MCU stuff? Or is it kind of its own separate thing?
I
know
mean,
it's rated R, so.
I mean, there is. Okay, let me put it this way. If you watched Loki with the Time Variance Authority, that is heavily tied with it. So it does tie into the MCU. It does. But not in a way where it's like, if you haven't been watching all those fucking movies, you're gonna be lost.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where a lot of people have problems, is that they watch movie, like, that's kind of like where Marvel kind of fucked up, is that Kevin Feige was given a mandate by the previous management to make all this content, and he kind of said, well, everything's running smoothly now, so I can walk away. And the people who were left to do the work behind him fucked it up.
Yeah.
Like, they legit fucked it up. So, and that's how you get, like, Secret Invasion, which was trash. And I'm saying that Secret Invasion was trash. Secret Invasion should have been amazing, and they fucked it up because they were like, well, we can't have Skrulls that are evil. I'm like, yeah, but in the comics, which is the source material, like, I have kind of a rule of thumb when it comes to, I kind of have a rule of thumb when it comes to adaptations of literature to movies. People who have read the literature should be able to discuss the movie with people who haven't read the literature and just watch the movie. Marvel fucks that up completely because they completely subvert what happens in the literature versus the movies, and sometimes to their detriment.
Yeah. I've heard that with, I've heard somebody else bring that up, too, about being able to discuss the movies with somebody who hasn't read the comic books.
Yeah. Like, they're like, well, Thanos, well, he just wants to make sure there's enough resources for everybody. It's like, I mean, really, he just really wants to have sex with Lady Death. That's his big thing. He has a hard-on for Lady Death, who in Marvel is legit a person. He's like, well, I want to fuck Lady Death. So he basically kills half the universe because he wants to fuck Lady Death. Now, they couldn't do that in the movies because that is kind of stupid. It worked in the comics, but it was kind of stupid.
Yeah. I don't think you could get away with that. You could probably write this, like, really weird, twisted love obsession and have it work. But I don't know, just listening to that premise, that's just kind of weird.
Yeah, it's not to mention in the comics, Deadpool actually has a thing going on with Lady Death too. because Deadpool can't die. So anyway, it's comics. You have to get into the comics in order to understand that. But there are some better stories that were done that are like, oh, this is way better than anything these fuckers have been doing. For example,
yeah, Lady Death hasn't made a MCU appearance, has she?
no, they have not. And even if they did, they'd probably fuck that up because it's Marvel. It's Marvel. The MCU, I consider it to be its own thing.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't consider it connected to the thing. For example, we're never gonna get Hulk, World War Hulk, or Planet Hulk. We're never gonna get it. We're never gonna get that, which is sad because I mean, you know, I think we've been deprived of seeing the Hulk beat the shit out of everybody in the Marvel universe. I mean, everybody get an ass whooping.
Yeah.
And we're never going to get that because, you know, they don't want to have the Hulk just beat the shit out of everybody. Even though, you know, technically that's what the Hulk should be doing because that's what the Hulk does. The Hulk beats the shit out of people. That's his thing.
Yeah.
So we're never going to get the Hulk beating the shit out of everybody. We're never going to get Planet Hulk. You know, Planet Hulk. Like, we're never going to get World War Hulk where the Hulk... Like, basically, the Illuminati, which are the Illuminati in the comics is Iron Man, Professor X, Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Namor. They all basically came together and decided to play God with the Marvel Universe and tell people what they were going to do and how they were going to do it, manipulating shit behind the scenes. Well, they got tired of the Hulk hulking out, so they made up a fake satellite event and then sent him into outer space, royally pissing him off. The satellite, the rocket, the ship went out of. It was supposed to send him to a planet where there was nothing there. However, due to an accident, it landed on a planet where Hulk was actually one of the weakest people. He got captured as a slave and was forced to fight. He basically spent all his time being the Hulk. Now, you know, the Hulk, as he gets, like, the longer he fights, the stronger he gets. So he lands on a planet where he's actually the weakest and then forced to fight. So you know by the end of this run, he's really fucking strong.
Yeah.
Okay? So he gets all the survivors on a ship that has his ship that he landed there on the planet as the core of the ship. And it basically, someone triggers a self-destruct and it blows up and kills his alien wife that he met on the planet. So he comes to Earth thinking that the Illuminati tried to kill him this way. And then he proceeds to beat the shit out of every single superhero team. Iron Man, he kicks his ass. Reed Richards, he kicks his ass. He kicks all the Fantastic Four ass. He goes to the X-Men mansion and he kicks X-23's ass. He kicks Wolverine's ass. Basically, what I'm saying is the Hulk kicks the entire Marvel Universe's ass. Just a lot of ass kicking, okay? And we're never gonna get that because Marvel is just a... Oh no, we have to build everything around Tony Stark. It's so bad they fucking brought Tony Stark back as Doctor Doom. And I'm like, that kind of defeats the whole purpose.
Tony Stark is gonna.
Sorry, they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back as Doctor Doom.
As Doctor Doom.
As Doctor Doom, yes.
Okay.
Which,
oh boy.
Like, here's the
Isn't
thing.
Doctor Doom a villain?
Yes. Although there was a run in the a few years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, where Tony Stark dies temporarily, and they make what's his name? Who do they make? Doctor Doom feels kind of bad about it, so he becomes Iron Man for a little bit. And it was kind of interesting because he's still Doctor Doom though, so he's like an evil. He's like a really harsh Iron Man, even though Iron Man's kind of a dick anyway.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like, oh, well, this is interesting. But anyway, so yeah, they're bringing back Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, and I'm like, the thing that makes Doctor Doom interesting, the thing that makes him like, oh, this is a really cool character, is that Doctor Doom he's an arrogant Eastern European. Like, first of all, he's not even really a doctor. He dropped out of school. Okay, he basically, when he went back to his home country and took it over, he gave himself an honorary doctorate. He's not actually even a doctor. He's like, I am Dr. Victor Von, and he has a hate boner for Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Like a major hate boner for Reed Richards. So, I'm not angry about Robert Downey Jr. coming back as a version of Doctor Doom, but if they make him like, because, I mean, like, there's certain aspects of Doctor Doom's personality that in order for it to work, like, he has to be Eastern European. Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor. He can't do accents to save his fucking life. Foreign accents. I mean, he can play a white guy, an Australian guy, playing a black guy.
I mean, they got away with it with Black Widow, because Black Widow's supposed to be Russian.
Yeah, well, I mean, she tried in the beginning. She did try in the beginning. I mean, be fair, man. No one was listening to her voice. They were looking at that ass and them tight ass pants and them leather pants. Okay, yeah. We all were looking at that ass, and even when we're like, God damn, ScarJo got badonkadonk.
Yeah.
Shit, people looking at Colin Yost and like, you son of a bitch. You bastard. Don't fuck up. like just random people can get Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, like some rando off the street, some scrub off the street.
I mean, look at Colin Yost. He looks like that scrub off the street. He really is like some random dude got Scarlett Johansson. Anyway, yeah.
He's
so
probably got connections though. He might look like that might be his superhero disguise.
I don't know. Look. The only thing I remember watching this thing where they're like, "Hey, when you see a really ugly woman with a really hot woman with a really ugly guy, it means he must be packing." That's the only thing. It's like, oh, this guy looks like shit. But if you only knew. But that's neither here nor there. Wolverine versus Wolverine and Deadpool. It's a pretty good movie. I liked it. Is it the best shit I've ever seen? No, but it's one of the better Marvel movies that have come out in a while, because the last few Marvel movies have been pretty terrible.
Yeah.
You know? And I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. They're going to be like, how dare you say that? But you know it to be true. We all know the last few Marvel movies have been pretty goddamn bad. Alright? If not bad, just not at the level of quality they should have been. Quantumania was like, oh, this should have been good. And it was like, this story is going all over the fucking place. Like, what is the point of this? What are you trying to do? And then they did the Black Widow movie, which the whole thing of the whole point of the fucking Black Widow movie was to shoehorn a new Black Widow into the Marvel universe, not to tell a good story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but
It just came out at the wrong time because Black Widow's dead.
Well, instead of doing an origin movie for Black Widow, what they should have done years ago was, after Winter Soldier, they should have done a Black Widow movie talking about what is Black Widow doing. Because she's a spy. It would have been a spy movie. You already had one spy movie with Winter Soldier, which hands down, you know, you can at me, bro, about this. Anyone. Winter Soldier is still the best Captain America: Winter Soldier is still the best Marvel film they've made.
Oh yeah, that one was really good.
You know, like from the start, like Steve is like someone tried to assassinate Nick Fury, and Nick Fury told me something. He's like, "What did Nick tell you?" And like he's like, "Yeah, I can't tell you right now. He just I can't make sense of it." And then like all those people are getting on the fucking elevator. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Is anyone gonna get off this elevator?" And they start fighting. It's like from the start of the movie, it's amazing, and it just gets better.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, it's like, you know, and it also ends with Bucky and Cap beating the shit out of Iron Man, as they should. No, that was Civil War. Sorry.
That's Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War is a close second. Okay.
Yeah, I like Civil War because it might as well have taken it. Basically,
That was a Marvel. Yeah, that was an Avengers movie. They're like, it's not, but it's an Avengers movie. Yeah, but it is though.
But it was like it was like a really good sequel to Civil War or to
Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it like Civil War ends with them doing what you were wishing, because Tony Stark is the source of so many problems with the Marvel universe, and he finally got the ass whooping he deserved. It's like, you need an ass whooping, and Bucky and Cap gave it to you. They beat the shit out of you, as they should have. And everyone's like, "Oh no, Tony's a hero." No, he's not. Did y'all forget that this man spent years fucking selling weapons to anybody?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, because that's the first movie, because he was selling his weapons to terrorist organizations.
No, the first movie he was selling the weapons to the U.S. government. He was the demonstration, but his company had been selling the weapons to anybody who would pay. That was the whole point of the original Iron Man. That's why he was going after all those places, because Stark Industries had been selling weapons to anybody. You wouldn't have Wanda, that crazy ass bitch Wanda, and her brother Pietro Maximoff, if you didn't have fucking Stark Industries selling weapons to anybody. Like, so many problems can be traced back to Iron Man. So when he finally died, I'm like, oh, they killed the greatest villain of the Marvel Universe, Iron Man. like everyone's like, oh, Tony, it's like, oh, this dude's a villain. No, not really. No, Iron Man's the greatest villain, because so many problems can be traced back to Iron Man.
Yeah.
And you say that, people are like, oh, don't say that. I like Tony Stark's a hero. No, not really. Shit, the Hulk is a bigger hero than Iron Man. And the Hulk destroys shit. That's what he does. He beats the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway. What?
Well, it's pretty much a force of nature.
Yeah, you know, it's like getting mad at the Hulk is like, oh man, this earthquake destroyed my house. Yeah, but the earthquake gonna earthquake, man. That's what it does. Why are you getting mad about the earthquaking? That's what an earthquake does. It destroys shit. You know, maybe you shouldn't have built your house there. How about that? You know, and the Hulk normally warns people. It's like, look, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. And people still make him angry. I'm like, look, he warned you. He told you, don't make me angry. And what did you do? You made him angry. So you kind of brought this on yourself. You did this to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like the Hulk never just gets mad and just starts destroying shit on. Normally someone did something to him first. And then he gets angry, and then he beats the shit out of people. That's how it works with the Hulk.
Yeah.
You know, you make him angry, he beats the shit out of people. That's his thing. You know, that's the Hulk's MO. He's like, I beat the shit out of people. That's what I do. You don't like it? I'll beat your ass too. You know, except, you know, the MCU Hulk just keeps on getting weaker and weaker and weaker with each iteration. Like, have you noticed that?
Yeah.
They keep on making him weaker and smaller and weaker.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn. Like, in the first movie, he one-shot a fucking battle cruiser with one punch. And then later on, he's fucking struggling to use the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that they haven't really done a good job with the Hulk in the MCU. It started out strong. It's gotten shittier ever since. I'm not sure why, but, you know. I like She-Hulk, though. Some people are going to get mad by that. Oh, you like She-Hulk? Yeah, I like She-Hulk. I don't care. What can I say? I like tall, curvy, stacked women. Anyway, enough about that. Any questions you want to ask about the film before we move on to the next topic?
Nah.
All right. Next topic is AI in gaming is a dirty word. So basically, I'm still seeing people like developers. You know, we need AI in gaming, which, first of all, it's not AI. It's procedural generation. Okay. So let me just get that out the way. Second of all, even if, like, it's like these people don't understand that people don't, like, having art, like, using procedural generation to make your games isn't going to make your games better.
Yeah. Yeah, this is true. They're still gonna have to put in the work. Because
Yeah.
even when it's procedurally generated, things don't always come out right. So.
I mean, I haven't seen a game where I'm like, oh yeah, this game was procedurally, this game heavily used. The only game I can think of that I've played that heavily used AI, and I'm like, this is shit, was that fucking GTA Definitive Edition
What?
trilogy,
Oh,
and that was trash.
yeah.
I don't think anyone was like, oh my god, this is the best shit ever. And if anyone said that, they're lying to you. I've never seen that shit before. Oh yeah, let's do that. I'm like, no, that's stupid. But you know,
Yeah.
when you say that, people get mad. They're like, oh, don't say that. I like my shitty ass games. Anyway, so yeah. AI is a dirty word. A lot of developers are coming out saying, well, you know, AI is not that bad. I'm like, yeah, but it is though, because here's why AI is bad, in my opinion. Um, in my estimation, I could be wrong, but this is my own personal opinion. Okay, AI is bad in video games because, essentially speaking, developers, not all of them, but a lot of developers are using artificial intelligence, AI, procedural generation, in lieu of um, mindfulness in making games.
Yeah. I want a nice speedy process to make the game rather than just, you know.
And they don't talk about that.
Well,
You know?
yeah.
They don't think about that. They're like, oh, well, I don't need to put effort into this. I can just use AI to do all the work. It's like, yeah, but that's how games get broken. That's how people wonder how games could come out. It's like, how did this game get out and look like this? Because they're using procedural generation to make the damn games. And an algorithm doesn't give a fuck about mindfulness. An algorithm is only as smart as the coder who wrote the algorithm. And if a coder is building an algorithm to perform a particular task, they're not thinking that there needs to be, like, you still need a mind on top of that to look at it and be like, is this something that actually needs to be taken care of?
Yeah.
And people aren't doing that. Gamers aren't doing that. Developers aren't doing that. And that's not. I personally don't think that's a good thing that games are being so heavily in. What's the word I'm looking for? Games are being so heavily skewed towards that type of shit. Cause they get lazy. You know what I mean? They get really fucking lazy.
Yeah.
It's like, oh well, I don't need to put effort into this shit. I'm just gonna throw some shit together, and that's it. That's all I have to do. Just throw some shit together. It's like typically speaking, when you're in school and they tell you you have to write a paper, right? They say do an outline first, right? When you have to create an outline and then put that shit together, you actually have to think about how the sentences flow together, how the paragraphs flow together, how one idea flows to the next idea, to the next idea, one topic to another, to another. You can't just throw some shit together and be like, boom, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah. They want to speed the process up and make as much money as possible because, that's the only game they're relying on this year to pay the bills.
Yeah, yeah. They say that all the time. They're like, oh yeah, this game, if we use AI, it'll streamline game development. Not realizing that they're not actually streamlining game, or maybe they do realize this. Maybe they just don't fucking care. But using an algorithm to make your games doesn't make you doesn't is not streamlining game development because you still have to have people looking over the algorithm to make sure it's not taking shit too literally.
Yeah.
So you still need people in there making sure it's not fucked up.
Yeah.
I for one am flabbergasted at the sheer amount of bullshit we have to deal with as gamers because of this almost, how can I put this, this like this AI is the new buzzword, you know, and they're like, oh, it'll make it'll be cheaper for us to make games, but you're not gonna pass that shit off to the gamers. Games ain't
Nope.
getting cheaper. Y'all
Nope.
are charging for $70, $80 games.
Yeah.
You know, shit. They're like, games have never been cheaper to make. Okay, cool then. Why are you charging us the same amount of money? That makes no sense to me. If games were
Yeah, that's a
that
good.
cheap, then they'd be cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It is procedurally uh, generated,
Yeah.
and that's been around for years, but it's just gotten a lot more
They
advanced.
just changed the wording to make it sound
Yeah, it's
more,
like
you know.
it's like the cloud. Like obviously, offloading stuff to your server had been around years before the word cloud
Since
was
the
even,
70s.
you know.
Since the 70s it's been like that. Like the law library, the online law library repository would basically upload laws, like law library shit, and then you would pay if you were a law firm and you didn't want to have stacks and stacks of libraries full of the laws of different states. You would basically pay a fee, and then you would have a dial-up connection or a modem, whatever the modem was for that time, and you would basically pay a fee. You'd have access to that. You would look at what you need to look at, close, make a copy, and then you'd have access to the shit. This has been going on for years. This is not. Everyone's like, oh, the cloud. Oh, you mean an offsite server?
Yeah.
It's like, and yes, and your point is, sir. you know, the power of the cloud will do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just communicating with servers just changed. I mean, that's
Well,
one of the reasons.
because
I think that's one of the biggest reasons they use that term is it's sort of a catch-all term for
the connections are faster.
yeah.
Because back in the day, if you were lucky, okay, you were maybe using a modem with a phone line. If you were lucky, maybe a T1 line. That was like 15 megabytes. Oh man, that's oh shit. You think you Johnny Big Balls now? Now people are doing like 10 gigs.
Yeah.
10 gigs. So I mean, the connections have gotten faster. Um, the upload and download speeds have gotten faster. So it's easier to make a connection. But the base, the underlying foundation of what's going on has not changed.
Yeah.
Because
Speaking
remember
of
when
faster,
Microsoft was trying to sell people on the power of the cloud? They were like, not the Xbox now, but the previous gen Xbox, the Xbox One,
yeah.
where they were like, yeah, well, we can. It's gonna the power of the cloud everything can be done with the power of the cloud. It's like this makes no sense. Like I'm telling you, I'm not a techno nerd, but even I was like, this sounds like a load of bullshit to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, but that sounds like
It's just
bullshit.
I'm not a scientist, but I play one on TV.
Yeah, I'm not a scientist, but I have gone to school, and this sounds like horseshit.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
But yeah, it's just a catch-all term because people are interacting with procedurally generated things in a way that they haven't interacted with it. So, oh, we're just gonna call it AI. That's the new buzzword when it's not,
Yeah,
real AI because it needs a model to work with.
yeah. It's still following a set of if-then parameters about what you want it to do. And that's it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, call the shit what it is. Don't call it, don't change the language thinking that'll change the definition of what it is.
Yeah.
Like instead of just saying, "Hey, that guy just got shot." Oh no, he was just intermittently penetrated by a projectile. It's like, no, he got shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious this man was shot.
Yeah.
This man was
It's like,
stabbed. Oh no, 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 no. He wasn't stabbed. Uh this man wasn't stabbed. He just what happened was is that a a metal object was when it was intrusively inserted into his body repeatedly by an aggressive individual. It's like, no, this man was stabbed repeatedly. Shit. You know, just tell the truth. Look, listen, we're using procedural generation. We're using a tool set that basically we give it a set of tasks and it does it, instead of us having to waste the time to code all that shit ourselves. There's nothing wrong with it.
yeah.
It's kind of like with the new Microsoft Office, right? The new Microsoft Office, like if you want to write a paper, let's say you're doing a research paper, you can basically put all your sources into a database in Microsoft Word. And then all you have to do is just put in the last words, like when you cite a source or quote somebody, you can literally pull that shit up and just do the footnote. And it, like, you don't even have to put all the shit in. You can put the format in the paper ahead of time and then just do the shit then.
Yeah.
Compared to back in the day when you had to do each one of those things manually. Basically, they're using technology to take shortcuts to the amount of work they have to do. But that's not equating to cheaper games or cheaper anything. Shit is still really expensive. Shit, the Persona 3 remaster was like expensive as fuck. It's like an $89 game. But, you know, that's my own personal opinion. Do you have any thoughts on it? Care, don't give a shit.
No, I don't have any personal thoughts. I just, I just think, obviously, AI has been, or you know, I'll just call AI just it's created a lot of problems. I know a lot of these big music companies have filed lawsuits against these AI machines that allow people to uh, create music through procedurally generated stuff, and you know the music that's being used is the music that's part of the models is obviously music that already exists.
Yeah,
So
because it's
yeah.
not creating something new. It's taking it's and if it is creating something, it's taking something that already exists and just tweaking it slightly in order to do something else. There's nothing new or creative being created. And you say that and people get mad. Like, don't say that. But enough about that. Anything else you want to say before we move on to the next topic, sir?
No.
All right. Shit. Productive, productive. All right. We're moving on to the last two topics. So I guess we get the free topic now. Is there anything that you would like to bring up? Any topics that you feel like, man, no one's talking about this shit? Why aren't you talking about this shit? This needs to be brought to people's attention. Damn it.
Uh, Not entirely. Oh yeah, I've been following a bit of the Mr. Beast stuff, and no, it doesn't have anything to do with gaming per se, but um, actually, I'll get to that on unpopular opinion since that's more open ended.
All right. So, it's me, Mr. Red Fox, and I do have a free topic. This is about Bioware and their new Dragon Age, their Dragon Age 4, basically. Um,
Yeah.
they're shitting on their last three games in order to sell their next game, which is just that's a terrible way of selling something. That's like a dude on his fourth marriage saying, "Hey, you're better than my last three wives. They were bitches." It's like, look, if he's talking about his other wives and disrespecting them, he don't really respect you either. You know, like if you're working on if you're working on the fourth game in a series, and to fans of the series, okay, like widely regarded, Dragon Age Origins is considered to be the best in terms of story and character agency. And the combat may have not been everyone's cup of tea, but the amount of customization in the combat is still, they have not gone beyond that sense. Dragon Age 2 was considered to be a dumbed down, I'm going to use a dirty word that's bullshit, streamlined, which means they stripped it down to make it appeal to dumbasses who don't want to use strategy in RPGs. Dragon Age Inquisition, aka Dragon Age 3, was the same thing, just not quite as stripped down as Dragon Age 2. So basically, what I'm saying is don't shit on your old shit in order to sell your new shit. That's stupid. Don't do that. That's it. Go ahead, sir. Give your unpopular opinion.
Oh yeah. Be wary of people that are meteoric rises, where they just sort of, you know, they just sort of explode and just come out of this essentially came out of nowhere. I've been following the Mr. Beast stuff, and he's a YouTuber, content creator that reached probably nearly an unprecedented subscriber base, and well, it's coming out that he had to play some dirty games to get to that point.
Well,
So
most people do.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, when you see somebody basically um, growing that quickly, there's probably some shit going on
Yeah.
because that's not typically it takes years of struggle for someone to get big.
Yeah.
Like they got to put the work in,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
you know. When shit happens that quickly, there's something going on.
Yeah. So apparently a lot of the stuff was that he's done was faked. Uh, CGI stuff.
Mr.
I mean
Beast, is this
that's
the guy who like now he does all that like he has these game shows he does and some shit like that?
yeah, yeah. A lot of those are fixed.
Yeah, most
Um,
game shows are.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of those are fixed. Also, illegal lotteries too. Like, oh, buy a shirt and you might win $1,000 within the next, or buy all this candy, or there's some other stuff that he's done that has people wondering what the hell. So I mean, I guess it's business as usual when it comes to this sort of thing.
Yeah.
But again, this guy was mostly a lot of his audience was kids. So
Yeah.
that's another reason people have taken problems with a lot of
I mean, but who's more
these
gullible?
gambling stuff. What?
I mean, who's going to be more gullible
Yeah.
than children? I mean, look, listen. I'm not making excuses for it because there's no excuse for fraud, but the thing is this, okay? We live in a world where a lot of people don't like using critical thinking. A lot of schools don't teach critical thinking anymore. It's all just this is what's on the test. Do well on the test. You know, they teach you what to think, not how to think. And a lot of people don't want to use critical thinking. You know, critical thinking is a dangerous tool that a lot of people don't want to use. You know, the ability to think about, okay, why is this person doing this? Who's benefiting from this? Who put this information out? Do they have an agenda? What is their bias? What is the slant behind their bias? Like people don't do that. They just, if someone's huge on YouTube, they're huge because they basically have an audience, and they're going to cater to that audience.
Yeah.
You know, but that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. So, do you have anything else you want to add about Mr. Beast and his bullshit? Mr. Beast's
Um.
bullshit. That's a little bit of alliteration for your ass.
And obviously, one of his co-hosts was talking to minors in inappropriate fashion. That
Yeah,
was the
but you
thing that
can't
got
control that.
the ball rolling. Um. So
Yeah, but he can't control that.
that. Well, yeah, that's true.
You
But
can't. I mean, that's
he's representing the company.
that is
He's the
true. So
co-host
he
is
has to fire
representing.
him. But you can't sit there
Yeah.
and force someone to not do stupid shit.
Yeah. And
You
yeah,
know,
the best thing he could have done was fire him.
that's all you can do is fire him. Just be like,
Yeah.
hey, look, man, you fucking up.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you fucking with the money. You got to go. Bye.
Yeah. But as the story progresses, it gets more and more interesting as it goes along. But I guess it's just one of those things. A giant uh, entertainment entity. Yeah, had a meteoric rise as well. They're starting to burn up in the atmosphere, so everybody wants to stand around and watch.
Yeah,
Which
man. It's
I don't
nothing
blame
like watching
them.
someone implode. That's
Yeah.
look, man. Watching something implode in front of your eyes is kind of. I know this sounds really bad, but you know, human beings are voyeuristic. We have voyeuristic tendencies. We like to watch things happen. And seeing someone implode, you know. But I mean, like I said, if he didn't miss, if he said, look, if he had a thing on the front of his thing saying, look, this is not real, this is bullshit, this is fake. The stunts here are stunts, etc., etc. Then all you can say is, if you're dumb enough to believe it, that's on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why they tell you don't believe everything you hear. That's why they tell people that. But that's my own personal opinion. Anyway, anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
I'm gonna cast next week. Um, Next Tuesday, 6:30 Eastern or 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. Um, where we will be talking about the latest news in gaming.
All right.
So hope to see you guys there.
All right. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Um, I try to have a cast every Wednesday. Next week, on the 7th, I will not be having a cast on the 7th. Mostly because I have something that came up, but I'm giving you guys um, ample warning about that. Yeah, the 7th, 7:15, I will not be here. I will instead be watching a movie with some students, and then we're going to be talking about the shit. And I'm making like $75 a head, 13 students. So I'm good. Um, so got a money making opportunity. Just a little bit of extra cash. So instead, I'm moving my Wednesday cast to Thursday, if that's possible. If not, I'll just record something and drop it on that day. Uh, but every other day, every other week, Wednesdays, 7:30 to 8:30, or a little bit longer, we have a podcast on this channel, BS Busters. If you would like to get in touch with the channel, you can reach me at Mr. Red Fox at bsbusters.com. Or sorry, bsbusters. Um, Mr. Red Fox at bsbusters at gmail.com. Yeah. Um, that's it. Um, you can also reach me via Discord, which the link is in the description of the video. That's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, play your games, etc., etc. Peace.